Hello everyone, my name is Heather and welcome to the channel Bookables. Today I'm here to talk about all of the books I read in the month of November. November was a good reading month for me. I read 9 books, which is really good. I listened to 2 audiobooks. These videos where I tell you what book I like the least, working up to my favorite book. This month I didn't have I didn't have any full 5 stars and I didn't have any books I really didn't like. So I'm just gonna kind of go through my pile and grab some. Great. First 2 I've kind of given both 3 stars. They were my last kind of fall reads before I get into holiday reads that I wanted to get into. I have The Cinnamon Bun Bookstore by Lori Gilmore. This is the second book in her, I don't even know what series it's called, Dream Harbor series, probably because it takes place in the small town of Dream Harbor. And I enjoyed this one. It was okay. I've learned that I like her books and I will continue to read them because they're seasonal and I think they're cute, but I don't think the writing is amazing nor the romances. They're just kind of cute seasonal reads, which I'm a sucker for, so there's no mistake there. This follows 2 characters, Hazel and Noah. Hazel works at the Cinnamon Bun Bookstore and she's about to turn 30 and she realized that she has really done no adventures or anything great in her life, so she's like, I should probably do something. And then she notices in the bookstore that there's these books that have been kind of defaced where they'll highlight a book or dog-ear a book and it'll be like, she went to the strawberry patch or something like that. And so she just takes it as a sign of a grand adventure. And there she has Noah, who's a local fisherman that has lived in the town recently, to help her while he's always had a crush on her. And it was cute. It wasn't amazing. Also, I do have a gripe with this book. There is a fall tree on the cover. There's fall leaves. There's mums on the ground. This book takes place at the very end of summer, maybe tipping into fall, but it's mainly a summery book. They go to the beach several times, so I'm like, why put the cover like fall if you're gonna do that? I'm not a fan of that. But either way, it was cute, it was seasonal, 3 out of 5. Nothing to write home about, but I don't expect her books to be anything to write home about, if that makes any sense. Then I have Given Our History by Kristen J. Miller. This was 100% a covered buy because of the fallish vibe of it. And again, it was okay. I kind of it's probably my least favorite book of the month, honestly, if I'm being honest with you. So this follows Clara, who is an assistant professor, and she's trying to get tenure, and she has to head up this committee. And then she learns that her ex-best friend, kind of ex-love of her life, Teddy, is coming to also work as an assistant or a roaming professor. I don't know the linguistics or logistics of it at her college, and he actually ends up on her committee for this thing. And they have a history, like I said. They were best friends. They met in camp, pen pals, great. And then kind of Clara cut off the friendship / relationship, and now they're meeting up many years later, and there's a lot of tension there. And basically it's all about that while dealing with kind of the logistics and politics of being a college professor. And it was just okay. Was it memorable? No. The cover's cute. That's all I'll give it. Honestly, I'm just going to give it 2 out of 5. Probably not 3. I didn't really like it. One of my audiobooks that I listened to is Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone by Benjamin Stevenson. I've been hearing about this book. Then I saw his newest one, I think Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. Got nominated for Goodreads Choice Awards, the first round at least. I don't think it made it to the final round. I don't know. But either way, I listened to this and I actually really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was very much kind of a take on Agatha Christie, but kind of more satirical in a way almost. So this book follows a character named Ernest who's going to a ski resort in the middle of winter to meet his family for a reunion, and his family's very estranged. And basically, I'll just read you the back of it because I think that's all you need to know. Everyone in my family has killed someone. Some of us, the high achievers, have killed more than once. I'm not trying to be dramatic, but it is the truth. Some of us are good, others are bad, and some just unfortunate. Have I killed someone? Yes, I have. Who was it? Let's get started. And so it kind of goes through the family of what happened. And basically they're at the ski resort because Ernest's brother is getting out of prison, so it's a big thing, and murders start happening at the ski resort, and Ernest is trying to figure it out. And the audiobook is amazing. I highly recommend listening to the audiobook because he'll stop throughout the book, be like, okay, are you caught up? Here are the players again. Here's the setting. I'm never going to be dishonest from you because I'm the narrator. It was just fun. I would give it a 4 out of 5. I liked it. It wasn't earth-shattering or groundbreaking, but it was a good time, so I liked it. The Songbird and the Heart of Stone by Carissa Broadbent. This is her 3rd book in the Crowns of Nixia series. This is kind of the first 2 books followed Oriah and I forget his name. I'm horrible. And this 3rd book follows a completely different character named Mish, and Mish was in the first 2 books. So I'm excited to see her own story take place and things like that. So at the beginning of this book, she's kind of caught and she's prisoner in the House of Shadow, and she's about to They're about to do that to her, and the Prince of Shadow comes in. He's like, I need her for this big task. And they're like, fine. And so she has to go to like the underworld with him, and he has a very certain task for the goddess of night. And it's, I liked it. I didn't love it, sadly. I would give it a 4 out of 5. It was enjoyable. It definitely left on a cliffhanger, but I think what made, especially the first book in this series, The Serpent and the Wings of Night, I didn't love the second one as much. I don't even remember the freaking title of that one, was the trials, and made it very interesting and entertaining. And this one kind of tried to do that, but it wasn't quite there. But I will definitely be continuing on with the series because I do enjoy it. So 4 out of 5. Next up, on a whim, I read a historical fiction, which I'm usually not a historical person, but maybe I like it every now and then, I think is the thing. I got this on my library loan, and then I was like, I kind of enjoy this, so I bought a copy. And that is The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. She's a very popular historical author, which I've never read from, but I enjoyed this. So this book takes place in 1950, and we have the Briar House, and it's kind of like a boarding house for women. Like, different women would just come and rent rooms, and chapters are different characters of the people that live in this house and what they've gone through and the tumultuous upbringings they've had, and how they all come together for like this Thursday night Briar Club like supper, how each of them will take turns. And it's just about their lives. And they're at the beginning of the book, you know, the murders happen in the Briar House, and you don't know who was killed or who did it, you know, you just know something happened. And so throughout the book, you kind of have that underline, but it's more about these women coming together and being friends from coming through very, very different backgrounds. And I quite enjoyed it. I would recommend it. If you're not a big historical fan, I think you'll like this one a lot. I give it a 4 out of 5. Lost Him by Laura Dave. I forgot I read this at the very beginning of the month. This was okay. If you don't know, she wrote The Night He Disappeared, which was very, very big a few years ago. They made a, was it an Apple series from it? Or I can't remember exactly, but I have not watched it. I did read the book. It was okay. This is kind of, her books, I think, are more mystery than thrilling. There's just a big mystery with a lot of familial aspects going on with it, just like this one. So in this book, we follow a character named Nora, and Nora's dad has recently took his own life. He kind of jumped off a cliff. But Nora's half-brother comes to her, and he's like, I don't think Dad did that. Like, I think he was pushed. And so they decide to investigate it further and also start to uncover the man that their dad was, that they never really quite knew as well as they thought they did. And it's kind of about that. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. It was okay. I've just learned with Laura Dave, she's maybe not for me. I do enjoy the writing. I did enjoy the mystery aspect. I really liked how it was all came together. I thought that was very interesting, but it's just not thrilling enough for me. But that's just me personally. But I mean, I think you will like it if you set your expectations. I think the problem I had with The Night He Disappeared, if that's even the title of the book, I apologize, is it was being pitched as like the best thriller of the year. And I'm like, this is really not that thrilling. It's more of a mystery. You catch my drift? Catch my drift? But it was enjoyable. Other audiobook I listened to is Dinner for Vampires by Bethany Joy Lenz. If you don't know, she played Haley James Scott, I believe, on One Tree Hill. I say time and time again, I never watched One Tree Hill, which is just a shame because I was the perfect target demographic for it when it came out in the mid-2000s, but I was like on the other side of the WB. I don't know. But I wanted to check this one out. She narrates it, and let me tell you, the audiobook is the only way to go for this book. And I say that as someone that doesn't listen to a lot of audiobooks. When I say, like, you should listen to an audiobook, I'm not saying, like, listen to it, but, like, it was a really good audiobook. Like, she did amazing with it. There was Chad Michael Murray was in it. Other characters from One Tree Hill had guest spots in it, but she really put on a production for this. So this, you would think, it talks about the chronicles of her life when she was an actress and got cast on One Tree Hill. And it does talk about that briefly, but she was in a religious cult, and she didn't really know that she was until she decided to get out of it. And it kind of depicts her life with that, with her religion, and how maybe the wrong people took advantage of her and used her. And that happens so often in Christianity and any other religion, honestly. And I just felt for her so much. It's a beautiful book. It is heartbreaking. Like, the stuff she went through sucked and it was hard, but it was amazing. The audiobook, phenomenal. 4.5 out of 5. Then I have my favorite book I've read this month, honestly, is P.S. I Hate You by Lauren Connolly. I gave this one a 4.5 out of 5. It was almost 5 stars. It truly was, but the main character pissed me off, so just being transparent. So this book follows a character named Maddie, and at the beginning of this book, Maddie's brother has passed away sadly from cancer, and that was her best friend. She loved him. And so the beginning of the book, we're at his funeral, and she learns that Dom, her brother's best friend, is the executor of the will, and she's very upset about it because she and Dom have a history together, and it's not so peachy keen. And so she learns, that Dom has left letters for everyone in his family because they have a snooky family. Like, I think his grandmother's letter that she opened as soon as she got at the funeral says, "Dear Grandma, thanks for the therapy." It's like, dang, I come from kind of a jacked up family too. Like, really? So I'm like, yep, sounds about right. I'm sorry, it's not funny, but like it is kind of funny. Anyway, so Maddie learns that her brother left her and Dom letters together. And not only that, he left them a mission for them to do. So he sent them coordinates for like, I think 7 different states that he never got to visit when he was alive. And so he sent them coordinates and he sent them to different states, and he wants them to spread his ashes, and he leaves him a letter for the next thing, and it's just a beautiful tribute to that. And Maddie's upset that she has to share this experience with her brother, because she's like, oh, wait a second, like, this is my brother, like, just because you're his best friend, and also kind of I hate you. And so obviously it's a second chance romance. It also really talks heavily about grief, because Dom lost his best friend, Maddie lost her brother, and her and Dom have to figure out their relationship together, and it was beautiful. But Maddie was also a jerk. Like she was so mad at Dom, and I'm like, are you in your 30s? Yes, you are. Talk about your feelings. We're not teenagers anymore. If this was a YA book, it would be 1,000% acceptable, but it's not. It's an adult book. Talk about your feelings. You're grown up. If you can pay your taxes, you could talk about your feelings, okay? Okay, maybe I'm the only one that feels that way, but it wouldn't make for a good book if it didn't have a lot of like tension and stuff like that. But I feel like it could have been resolved and easier if she didn't have such a huge block and chip on her shoulder. That wasn't even a chip. It was a freaking block on her shoulder. Maybe I'm the only one that felt that way, but other than that, I truly love this book. I would highly recommend it. It's probably going under the radar because it is being released in December, so probably not a lot of people know about it because holiday books are taking reign. But trust me, I would definitely recommend this one. My favorite of the month for sure. And the last book I want to talk about is Lost and Lassoed by Lila Sage. This is her 3rd book in her Rebel Blue Ranch series. This is one I've been excited for. I read the first book, done and dusted, enjoyed it. I have not read the second book, but I was waiting for the 3rd one because it's about Teddy and Augustus, and they hated each other from book 1. Like, they had a very much enemies to lovers relationship, and it was enjoyable. And so this whole book is about that because he's a single dad, and I enjoyed it. It was a 3.5 out of 5. It was steamy, cowboy, single dad, enemies to lovers. You get the deal. You get the gist. So there you have the 9 books I read in the month of November. I don't know how December will go. December is sometimes a hit for me and sometimes a total wash because of holidays, and that just takes up all the things. Especially like if you're a parent, you gotta think about kids and all. It's hard. It's a lot. But either way, we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it'll go well. November was a success, so either way, I think I can end the year happy. Like that. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.